For the last couple of years, right, we've gotten used to AI that can think, it can write, it can answer our questions. But what happens when it starts to actually do things? Okay, let's get into this, because the entire game is changing right now. We are moving from an AI that just chats to an AI that actually acts. The future. That's it. That's the entire quote from Aravind Srinivas, the CEO of Perplexity. And, when you hear what he was talking about, you'll get why just those two words were more than enough.
He was reacting to this demo that just went viral. His company's new browser, Comet, executed stock trades and filled out an IPO application with, get this, nothing more than a typed command. No clicking, no logging in, just a simple instruction. That's the massive shift we're going to break down today.
So, this huge leap, it has a name, Agentic AI. And it's moving from just being a buzzword to actually being deployed at an incredible speed. This really is a fundamental change in how we're all going to interact with technology.
So what is it exactly? Well, an agentic AI is not just a chatbot waiting for you to type something. No, it's a system that can take a goal, something like book me a flight to Miami for next Tuesday. And then it can autonomously plan out the steps, access the tools it needs, like a booking website, and then actually execute the whole task on its own. It plans, it acts, and it can even team up with other AI agents.
And here's why this is so important. This is quickly becoming the new user interface for everything. Instead of you having to click through a dozen different screens, you'll just tell an agent what you want done, and it's going to handle the rest. And we're not talking a decade away. The foundations for this are literally being built as we speak.
So let's pull back the curtain and see how this new world is actually being constructed. You've got all the biggest names in tech racing to create let's call it the plumbing for these agents. But as we're about to see, it's not without some pretty serious traps.
And what's really fascinating here is just the sheer scale of the investment. You've got Microsoft building an open framework in Azure, basically the highways so different agents can talk to each other. You have IBM and S&P Global using agents for really complex stuff like managing supply chains. And then companies like Edge Delta and ZTE are creating platforms where a whole bunch of agents can work together as a team. This is the heavy-duty, industrial-grade infrastructure for an entire agent-driven economy. But okay, here's the reality check. As companies are rushing to get in on this, they're hitting some major roadblocks. They're calling simple automation agentic. They're not realizing the massive hidden costs of integration, and this one's critical. They're shipping these incredibly powerful tools without proper governance or even a kill switch if things go haywire. Yeah, getting a real return on this investment is proving to be a lot harder than the hype would have you believe.
Now, of all the things these agents can do, maybe the most transformative is their ability to spend money. This is where the digital world makes a huge, tangible leap into the real-world economy.
I want you to think about this for a second. When an AI can make a purchase for you, the entire idea of a checkout page just vanishes. It becomes a function that the AI calls in the background. So the real business challenge completely shifts. It's not about having the coolest website anymore. It's about who can best verify identity, manage risk, and answer the big question: who's on the hook when an agent buys the wrong thing? And this just perfectly illustrates the new battleground. We're already seeing a protocol war brewing. In one corner, you've got Google pushing a standard that's all about security, with over 60 partners on board. And in the other corner, you have OpenAI building its own commerce protocol right inside of ChatGPT. Starting with Stripe, the company that wins this could end up setting the standard for how trillions of dollars are spent in the future. And the scale we're talking about is just staggering. One high-end estimate projects that the value of goods flowing through ChatGPT alone could hit $292 billion a year. Let that sink in. That is more than the entire GDP of Finland, all flowing through a single AI platform. And that brings us right back to that Perplexity demo we started with. See, it wasn't just a cool party trick. It was a blaring signal that these agents are already handling complex financial transactions that until like 5 minutes ago absolutely required a skilled human being. But with all this incredible new power comes a whole new class of problems. The ambition for what these agents can create is absolutely soaring, but the reality of trying to secure them, well, that's proving to be a massive challenge.
So on one hand, you've got visionaries like Elon Musk setting these unbelievably ambitious goals. He's aiming for his company xAI to produce a watchable feature-length movie and a fully playable video game, all generated by AI by the end of 2026. I mean, that just highlights the immense creative potential here.
But then, on the other hand, you get this. A really sobering report from Rolling Stone revealed that users were already using Musk's Grok AI to create explicit content. And worse, employees had to flag attempts to produce child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. It's just a stark, brutal reminder of the immense safety and moderation challenges that come with all this power.
And the security risks are evolving just as fast as the tech. We're seeing a whole new security field pop up, AI Security Posture Management, or AI SPM, just to try and monitor the risks these things create. Attackers are now using their own AI agents to find security holes automatically. And a recent incident showed how a flaw in GitHub Copilot could be tricked into leaking super sensitive data, like private security keys, right out of a company's code. The more power we give these agents, the bigger the target on their back becomes.
So as we're building this agentic world, we have to start thinking really hard about the rules, the impact on all of our jobs, and, who's ultimately responsible for these autonomous systems.
And this is the crucial point. The technology itself, it isn't good or bad. It all comes down to how we choose to implement it and govern it. That's what will determine its real impact. The decisions being made right now are going to shape our economy and our society for decades to come.
And you know what? The policymakers are starting to wake up and respond. California just passed the first dedicated AI safety law in the US, and it even includes protections for whistleblowers. The EU is pushing a big strategy to apply AI across its entire public sector. And right here in the US, federal agencies are being told to get their data in order and make plans so they don't get locked into a single AI vendor.
So what about jobs? Is everybody's fear coming true? Well, the data suggests it's less about simple replacement and way more about transformation. Indeed, found that almost half of all skills will become a hybrid of human and AI collaboration. So while 40% of jobs have tasks that can be automated, the real story seems to be that our roles are going to change. We'll have to work with these new tools, which, by the way, could lead to some serious GDP growth.
And this technology isn't just for coders and big corporations anymore. It is going totally mainstream. The soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo recently admitted that he used Perplexity AI to help write an acceptance speech. When you have public figures normalizing this for everyday professional tasks, you know a major shift is happening. But let's pump the brakes just a little and temper the excitement with a dose of reality. This data from the finance world is really telling. While a solid 63% of companies have deployed AI in some way, only 21% are actually seeing clear value from it yet, and only 14% have fully integrated these advanced agents. There is still a huge gap between adopting the technology and actually mastering it.
So, we end on what might be the most important question of all. As these powerful AI agents move from just giving us information to taking real actions in the real world, buying stocks, managing our systems, interacting with our lives, who is ultimately responsible for what they do? That is the question we now all of us have to answer.